think all the candidates that say they will be coming are here. And we have one candidate, she's coming late, but I think she may be on time. First of all, congratulations to being here because you are very democratic persons. You're very engaged politically. It's not a surprise, but we are going to try to get more people in the next elections. I'm not going to talk too much. I prefer to hand the word later to my communication director. I just say a little bit about the formats. I just say to the candidates. We're going to start with a little introduction by me. The opening statements, which is going to be 3 minutes each, no more. Question from moderator. The moderator who has the discretion to choose the questions. If we have time, we have questions from candidates to other candidates, which is open. Any position can ask to any other position. Questions from public. The closing statements. So we may have to jump to the closing statements according to the time. First, they are not here. We have our treasurer and our administrative director. Unfortunately, they could not be here. But we have Sierra One, which is our communication director. And I want to say that I'm deeply grateful for all the job she has done with us. Without her, we would not go so far, and we went. She is like omnipresent because whenever we need her, she's there. So first, I want to ask for a round of applause to Sierra. And she's going to talk a little bit about the positions and whatever she wants to talk. Okay.
So I'm just gonna briefly introduce you guys to the positions that's open today, like the job description of what each position is supposed to do. Very briefly, first of all, the Vice President for the PhD programs. Basically, the VP PhD is supposed to be the primary contact point of all the PhD students, no matter it is academic issues or general life issues at the Institute. And also, more specifically, it is his or her mandate to host a PhD forum across twice across the semester, 2 semesters, and also arrange some extra curriculum activities outside the courses. Next, it will be treasurer. Treasurer is our official keeper of our finance situation. So basically, this position is supposed to decide smartly and rationally on how to use all our GISA fund. And it's also the person that make clever investment into the activities that is supposed to be helpful and useful and fun for the student body. And also he or she will handle the reimbursement request. Next will be communication director. Personally, I think it's the best part. So it is the face and voice of GISA. It manages all the social media accounts and also the email accounts. So basically, it's the exchange point of the GISA and the student body. And also, it's this position's mandate to do the external outreach. Last but not least will be the administrative coordinator. And it is, to put it like more easy to understand, basically it is the housekeeper of GISA. So basically all the administrative tasks and also it is, you can understand it as a very powerful position in GISA because it is supposed to hold every position in accountable. So that's basically the situation of all the positions. And I hope that now we get a better understanding, we can start with the formal process.
Okay, I want to come to the table. Tyler Condeff is the master, the vice president for master students, and he is going to be the moderator.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for opting to spend your Friday evenings with us here. I know that's not a decision you've taken lightly. This is the time we get the rooms, this is the time we hold our events. So first things first, to the candidates, thank you for stepping up to serve We do obviously feel it's very important what we do for the student body. It's often difficult to operate within the bounds of how things are set up, and it's not always the most high-profile task. But I do believe that it has the potential to do a lot of good for the students and really do a lot to make their experience at the institute better. So it's really important that we have, this much interest in continuing that sort of tradition. So we'll keep things moving fairly quickly. As the candidates know, we'll start with opening statements. You'll each have up to 3 minutes, but feel free to be more brief if you'd like to. And I'll have Melis first. I'll have you come up by position essentially to give your opening statements. And then after you've given your opening statements, we'll go to questions. Okay. So Melis, you have the floor whenever you're ready, and I will keep your time.
Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Is there any PhD student in the room? Yeah. Okay. Hey, my vouchers, but I think it is interesting for everyone. So I am a second-year PhD student in history with a minor in econ. So I'm in both departments. I've been here for 1 year now, so I know administration and the organization of the institute because I was a class rep last year, and I jumped into the GISA VP as a replacement as Constantine, who had to left early his position of VP for PhD. So I've served as a VP for PhD for 3 months now, and I think I've started some projects and improvement I want to carry on for a full yearly mandate to kind of finish and make this project being concrete. So, for example, one of the projects I have is to increase the visibility of PhD within the institute. I think they deserve more because they work as researcher and they diffuse the brand of the institute in conference and they are not recognized as researcher by the institute. So I want them to have more visibility on that through events promoting the research within the institute and through online visibility in the Graduate Institute website. Some other fights I intend to do are the one for the funding of the PhDs, because currently it's very heterogeneous and a lot of people are left without any fund, or some people have a scholarship but it's only a 10-month scholarship, which is absurd when you do a PhD because you do continuous work for several years. So I want the administration to step in and be more proactive on the funding of. I want them to find more potential scholarships or RATA, any kind of job they could find for us in Geneva, because currently it's not from the priority to help PhD to get scholarships or money to live in Geneva. Then on the academic life, I think one of the problems is the minor program for PhDs, because it's a bit of a mess. And there are flexibility, but there are a lot of heterogeneity in the management of the minor within the department. So I want to have a clear kind of free form in which each department make clear what is a minor, what does a minor provide to you, and what do you have to do to fill the minor, and to make this more concrete, because, for example, for econ, it's really impossible to get a minor if you're not a trained economist. And I have a bunch of other projects / ideas / fight I want to continue, so you can have a look on them on my platform. And last point, I'm French, so my French can help in the administration. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Melis. Just a point on that last bit, French does actually help us quite a bit, and as you're the only candidate, I do wish you luck. I look forward to working with you again this year. Also, just another note, I'll notify you when you have 1 minute left on your time for opening statements. So now we're going to move to communications. We have 2 candidates here, I believe, so if the communications director candidates could come up to the table, please. Yes. And we will. And we'll proceed in the order that the platforms and candidacies were submitted. So that means Bob will be going first. Yeah. And then I'll probably go second. whenever you're ready.
Hello everyone. I won't need 3 minutes. I will be very quick and try to be very efficient and productive as much as I can. And but I have to say that I'm not that kind of person like Toastmaster, but I'm a sushi master, by the way. Anyways, first of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Batu. I'm from Mongolia. I have a background in IR, both for BA and MA, and I worked as a journalist in Mongolian national daily newspaper for a few years, like more than 1 year, back in Mongolia. And I have lived and studied in more than 5 countries like Egypt and Japan, where I had the great chance to meet lots of people from different backgrounds and diverse backgrounds. And I think I've learned so many things and which can help me to work as a communication director. And I believe that I've earned skills and experiences that are necessary for this position. And if I get your honor and be chosen as a communication director, I would run few projects through social media to connect each other well and share well, because we are from very different countries, we're from very different cultures, so we need to get shared and get to connect with each other, at least to learn something new from each other. And second of all, that would be not only within us, but also to the other outside institute and other university students. And I would like to promote us to worldwide university and institutions. And also, I want to point out that I see this position as more like communication tool, not like director or like bossy things, So, I mean, you just think of me like a communication tool, like your mobile phone or like Facebook. So yeah, thank you very much and help me to win the selection. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Let's see here. Farham has a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I do have PowerPoints.
Oh.
That's the last. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. So the problem is that I have to change them right here, but I have to look. Oh, we'll handle it. So thank you very much, everybody, for just coming over, listening to me for these 3 minutes, which will be later, I understand. My name is Farham. I'm a PhD in doing international law. I'm 33 years old. I've been here in Switzerland for the last 5 years. Et moi, je suis pas français, mais j'aime beaucoup le français et je parle un petit peu de français. Alors, what I would like to briefly go through would be the role and functions of GISA communications directors, a tale of legitimate expectations. I would ask you people, if you do have the time, take a read of the platform I wrote down there. That would be a convention, a social convention between me and those who would decide that I would do some sort of service. Oh yes, okay. Well, my slides, which I'm not going to just delve into, this is for you, they're already available online on those Facebook pages, is divided into 3 sectors. One on the duties of GISA communication directors, the second on the needs of you schoolmates, and the third one is on the alignment scheme in 4 fronts. As for the duties, well, GISA statute, I would like you all to take a look into it sometime. You have a lot to expect from us, from GISA. Do take a read of that and expect a lot from us, okay? So I talk right now on behalf of me, myself, if I am to be in the future the communication director. So first one are the missions. What you see just in red print, they are those who are attributed to the communication director's role. So you take a read of that. The second one Also, it continues as the communication director, as a permanent member of GISA's executive board, is assigned with certain tasks. Again, these are the shared tasks of the executive board of 7 people, in which the red staff would be the ones which would contribute to that of the communication directors. But the communication director himself has got certain duties which are all specified in this slide, which you will also take a look at. And also, for the last but not least, 1, students' initiatives, and 2, as you can see here, no, where? I'm sorry, I'm lost. Oh yes, that's it. So, and the second one are the civil society movements. These are the two areas where you people need to expect us, especially the communication director, to act proactively, even in terms of finance. Thank you very much. My time is up, so I'll continue with the rest of the slides, which I have already taken. Thank you.
Thank you to the 2 of you. There's also a third candidate for communications director who is cannot be with us today. That's Nino Foiler. He's graduating today, so he's back at Oxford for his graduation.
Congratulations.
So, turns out that takes priority over GISA election debates. So hey, I'll give that to him. His platform is also online, as are all the candidates, and I do urge anybody here or watching via the video to go onto our website at mybc.ch and check out those platforms as well. So thank you to the communications candidates.
Okay, thank
The next position I'd like to invite to the stage would be the candidates for administrative director. Thomas and Nicholas. And Nicholas is first?
Nicholas.
Confirm?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So Nicholas, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, so I timed it so it should be just about 3 minutes. Might go a little bit over. But... Okay, so GISA doesn't fit into a neat categorization for any student body. It's not a wing of the administration, and it's not fully independent and doesn't engage in the same kind of politics that most student organizations do. That's why GISA actually has a lot of situations in which it's dealing with a flux, not only in terms of itself, but also in terms of the organization of the Institute. And the Institute, in turn, is also in flux because of its growth and because of its relationship with the University of Geneva. I'm running with the purpose to support GISA's board to draw on existing organizational strength, run effective programs, and keep everything accountable to the student body. This means to most of you that GISA will be focused on a current and future status. That GISA will stay focused on its current and future student bodies without any kind of internal squabbles distracting. In fact, if everything goes as planned, you probably shouldn't be hearing from us administrative directors at all. We'll be in the scenes behind. Okay, like many of you, I chose the Institute for its international character. Having lived in 7 countries, I can understand why this is such a great value to the Institute itself, and more importantly, why it can be so difficult for students from all over the world to come to a place like Geneva or even a closed society like Switzerland. And I'm saying this because I'm Swiss. Okay. In my previous experience, I ran the program section of what was essentially a student organization with full legal responsibilities and roles, while at the same time having a mandate of a student body and being staffed by students. We had 5,000 students served annually, 500 associate staff, and 9 programs under my portfolio of 30 to 40 staff that I managed. In many ways, it's actually like GISA in terms of it doesn't really fit into any neat category of any student body. I have 3 components to my platform. The first is using the institutional knowledge already present. There's already an informal Facebook group, and there is an alumni relations associated position. However, my research into organizational behavior has taught me, and in the case of my previous organization has taught me, that there's a need to formalize these links through databases and transition reports. Secondly, to keep things running smoothly in terms of task-focused meetings and making the minutes available to the student body to promote more transparency. Thirdly, a feedback mechanism that doesn't only allow for somebody raising their hand in a debate like this and asking a question, but for example, sending off an anonymous message, because not everybody can talk about mental health as openly or another issue like that as the people here in this debate. Third, preparation is the best approach to crisis management, and I intend to make sure that we as a board establish a clear relationship with the administration itself and ensure that in cases of problems arising from, say, this glow party, if something goes wrong and somebody pulls a fire alarm or something like that and we get fined for that, there needs to be a clear case of who is responsible and what the system is for litigation. We need to be able to draw on experts as a student body to ensure that we keep our existence stable and sustainable.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nicholas, and we'll now turn to our comments. You have 3 minutes, and I think we'll on.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming on the Friday evening. So, I base my platform a lot on what's been happening with the current divorce between Université de Genève and the IHEID. I'm saying that with my French accent, francophone. We need these on the team. So I've been here for 2 years. I've been following GISA mostly for about a year now, really sort of starting to engage in what's happening with it. I mean, 2 years ago I was a bit like you guys sitting at the back, wondering what was happening. And then I think within your second year you really start to delve in and talk to who's in GISA, find out what's happening in GISA. And this is sort of what I've done in preparation for applying for this role, to find out what the administrative director needs and how GISA needs to become a sort of more well-oiled machine so that we find our place within the current privatization of the institution. Now, some of the information we receive from the administration can be pitiful. I mean, I found out about the whole privatization because it was kept so secret in a meeting on a bus. Just to sort of give an example, I mean, a lot of first years are not exposed to sort of how bad communications can be. But I've had a first-hand account of that, and I've increasingly over the last few months really tried to talk to parents to work out what we need. So instead of having perhaps a database or a massive technological revamp in GISA, what I'm suggesting is an idea of legacy. And this has also been something that's been asked for by several people. What I meant by legacy is keeping a history of what's happened and what will happen. Because the administrative director, his role is also very long-term as well as short-term. Yes, we're faced with crises, as Nicholas says. I mean, the best crisis is recently the one we saw with the course registration. But we're also faced with long-term issues. I mean, the best way for administrations to ignore our issues is to ignore our issues and wait for the idea to die off. This is what happens with a lot of cases. So we need to know what GISA needs to do. We need to keep everyone in the loop. We need to make sure that everyone's organized with long-term issues to make sure the administration doesn't just ignore it and the project dies. And we need to make sure that those projects can continue from administration to administration. So we need to find ways by making sure that we know which projects are being used at the moment and which projects we need to work on to make sure that we have continuity between administrations. And we also need ways to respond to short-term issues, but also these long-term issues to make sure that it's not going to be completely ignored and left out by the administration. So that's my platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to both of you. And we'll proceed straight to the treasurer candidates, and after that, he's a treasurer candidate. We'll proceed straight to the treasurer candidates. And at the conclusion of that, we'll open it up for questions from the audience and everybody else. So thank you very much. If I could have the treasurer candidates come up, that's Chuan, Ying, and Sardiani here. No? You have a ton of them. So I believe, Ying, you were first to send your candidacy. Saron, can you verify that?
Actually, I guess it's Chuan.
Oh, first is Chuan.
Yes.
Pardon me. So, Chuan, you have a video here, but I assume you're here, so you'll speak yourself.
Yes.
Perfect. So you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay, it starts now. Sorry for being late and everything. I already sent a video to GISA because I had a course in between. But the schedule is just perfect for me. I mean, I can talk. So allow me to first introduce myself briefly. I'm a first-year student of MDev. I did my bachelor's degree in Japan, and I'm from China. During which I did an exchange program to University of Zurich. That's why it's my second time to Switzerland, and I did understand it's really overpriced for students. And my main focus during my bachelor's degree was the Southeastern Asian relationship. Now I'm doing development studies apparently. What I'm going to talk about my platform is that GISA is a student body with various backgrounds and demands situated in this city. For those who do not know what the treasurer has done in the previous term, I'm here to briefly introduce the treasurer until now, Malika Sopti. She's not here today. Yeah, she's not here now. She has done an excellent job, in my point of view, to make the budgeting more transparent. She was associated with many other tasks as a treasurer during the last 12 months. And as I already stated in my email to GISA to run this candidacy, I would like to introduce what I would like to do as GISA treasurer. I think my main job is to help maintain a good budgeting and monitoring the student initiatives fund allocation. I would like to build a more reliable and streamlining relationship between GISA and the student initiatives. In my point of view, at this moment, there is still plenty of policies to formulate in order to make communication better. Besides that, I wish that GISA board can work out a greater communication between individual students directly with the fund allocation. For example, treasurer may work closely with communication director and set up a survey for the welcome week feedback. That's all I'm going to say today, and I wish you can drop me a Facebook line or email to ask me about everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chuan. And Ying, you have 3 minutes for whenever you'd like to begin. I will bring up your PowerPoint.
I'll speak louder. Okay, my name is Ying Xu, and I am the first-year master student in. Thank you. I'm the first-year master student in international economics, and first I should really thank what GISA had. First, I should really thank what GISA had done for us newcoming students. The welcome week was excellent, and I really enjoyed it. And the student guide is very helpful. So I think that's mainly the reason why I'm standing here and running for being a member of GISA, because I really appreciate the mission of this association. I just finished my bachelor in finance, and I'm very familiar with the work of accounting and financing, so I think it will make me quite qualified for this position. And that's my view about my responsibility as a treasurer. So the basic duty is I should make an efficient budget and support the daily operation of GISA. However, there are two things I want to highlight. The first is the class fund. Actually, I looked at the budget and the expense of last year, and I found that only 64% percent of class phone we use, and some classes, some programs, they didn't even use it. And I think we can make a change this year. And second thing I want to highlight is the student initiatives. This year I want to work more with these student initiatives. For example, I found that a lot of students post on Facebook asking questions about sports because we don't have sports course here. And actually we do have several student initiatives here, and they are concerning about our sports. And I think GISA, we are doing, and we can do that after that is the financial support, and we can work together with these initiatives to organize some weekly or monthly sport activities. And also, as far as I know, that GISA actually have some sport equipment that all of us can borrow. And I don't know if it's working quite well, but I think this year we can make this borrow and lend system work better. So basically, that's what I want to say, and you can find me on Facebook and send me and vote for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you to both candidates. We do have a third candidate for this position, but I don't believe she's here. So if and when she arrives, we'll give her some time to give a statement about herself as well. For now, I think we will move on to the question section. And for this, we're just going to go ahead and use this microphone in as much as we have 4 chairs and more than 4 people to put in those chairs. So, yeah, so if you'd like, 2 of you can come up here and join. Otherwise, I'll just walk around the microphone with questions. So you can. So to begin, I'll be exercising my discretion as moderator and asking some questions that the current GISA board has deemed important to ask. So this first one will be actually for all candidates, and we'll go one by one. You'll have 1 to 2 minutes each. So please keep your answers brief and to the point. And this first question is really one of self-reflection for us. We'd like to know, for the first years, this is a little less material for you to work with, but we'd like to know, in your experience, what have you seen as the shortcomings of the GISA Executive Board and how we've operated, or previous boards in the case of older students, and how do you plan, or how would you envision us addressing those shortcomings? So you can go in whatever order you choose, and Andre will bring the microphone around to you. Thomas?
Hi. So yeah, I've been here the longest. I mean, yeah, I'll stand up so you can see me. Yeah, so as I said, I've been here for 2 years, and hi, yeah, so I've been here for 2 years, and I've seen several boards go past. I've seen different presidents and different ways in which people have acted. I've seen highly confrontational boards, less confrontational boards. But at the end of the day, there's still this underlying issue. It's not necessarily that of a lack of communication, but that of trying to find a sweet spot in dealing with the administration. Now, I mean, a lot of the time I think the admin likes to make it out to be the dark side, but there are times when GISA negotiates with the administration, sometimes it works, and sometimes it works spectacular, like really, really well, and sometimes it just doesn't go anywhere. And I think this is back to the point of legacy. So as the administrator, I'll be setting the agendas. So I want to make a sort of very in-depth report on what has worked back in previous administrations. Now, I actually know previous administrators, I can contact them, I can ask them. And I also want to apply ideas that have worked well, also in tandem with the administration, to put on the portfolio during this year. Actually, I mean, one of the points that I've just raised, which I found out has worked out spectacularly, was the thesis share, which I was able to participate in last month, which apparently probably got backing from the head of studies, Monsieur Carbonnier. And that was a really great example of where GISA and the administration can actually work together to make something that worked really, really well. And I think that if we can find these sweet spots, I think that's really what we're looking for. So these are what I'll be setting on the agenda. Thanks.
We're going to go ahead and not use the slides for this. Just in the interest of time.
Okay, fine. So, you have it. Well, over there you do have the slides yourselves, and those who can just watch this video later on. Based on, I put certain, I discovered that students are concerned in regard to certain issues. One of them are the more administrative in-house issues as the main category, under which falls the matter of courses. Still, I can see that people had 2 weeks of hectic time to just have their courses, especially the new students, maybe not very much for the second years, but for the first years it was indeed a matter, and many people just, I heard they raised their voices. So I suppose that's one area that we need to have a consolidated mechanism, something thought through, and obviously to be negotiated with the administration. The second thing, which again it was also in your slides were highlighted, was the issue of initiatives. I think there is a sort of fragmentation going on here. If you do know, the career service people just in the administration of the institute, they do have their own platform for the initiatives, for the students' initiatives. In GISA, we do also have same, somehow quasi, same to what they have it over there. And it seems that people are not very much aware of the both potentials, and the administration is not very much aware that how GISA can work in line with them to effectuate what they are also being after. I suppose, and when go talk to your friends down there. Everyone has got brilliant ideas. Maybe they work, maybe it's too much high, but anyway, people do have ideas, but absolutely, almost absolutely, nothing is going on. So what can GISA do, and what would the role of the communication director? That would be, I suppose, something. So, are you going to the next question?
Yeah, no, next candidate.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We can hold our applause till the end. So anybody else want to address the question at this time?
Thank you. Alright, well, first I'm going to acknowledge my limitation. I'm a first year, and unfortunately I can't draw on a lot of the experience of previous boards. What I can say is I've done a decent amount of research in my undergrad into organizational behavior, and especially when it comes to student organizations, because there's not a lot of research on this. And most of it points towards the largest problem being sort of institutional knowledge that is set in stone, because a lot of it happens word of mouth, which can work very well, but there's always going to be gaps, which is why when it comes to understanding what previous boards have done, it's very useful in GISA's case to draw on PhD students who've known a whole series of boards. At the same time, the best approach probably in the future is to create more than an oral history, a formalized system of transition reports, which is what I found works the best, or even some kind of informal position of GISA historian or something like that. It's about passing it on, so.
Thank you very much. So, any other candidates want to step up to the question?
Excuse my lack of experience about the GISA, but I will try to answer the question from the perspective of our communication side. And I think we need more efficient communication. Efficient communication means inclusive communication, I think. And we have to take into account that there are people who don't use Facebook frequently as we use, even if they have a Facebook account. So we need to expand the communication channels like emails or like other social networks. So
thank you very much. Melis, you want to go?
I guess I can sum up in one word. It's cafeteria. It's still a mess, and prices are changing every day. Reduction are cut or they appear. So I think that's one of the challenges, to make this transparent and stable for students.
During the during the Welcome Week, I took part in one event organized by one student initiative here, and at that day, actually only 4 students showed up, and it made me reflect that I think in the future when I am a treasurer, I will think about the participate rate of an event, whether we really should organize this event or actually students are not interested in that one. So that's thing we should think about, and we should use our funds maybe I should say we should use our funds in the efficient way, in the way students are look forward to.
Thank you very much.
Actually, what I want to say is pretty much as bad what Ying has referred to about the communication problem. There's still a huge gap in my opinion between the normal just common student to the GISA board. We weren't notified about those events, about those money used in these events before we came to Geneva. And then when we did come to Geneva, and we found out there are so many events that maybe some of us want to participate and maybe not. And I think maybe GISA should include more aspects of how GISA is working during the introduction session, and it will be more efficient. Thanks.
Thank you all candidates for your candid statements in regard to that question. And several of you brought up the point of student engagement on the communication side, but also in other respects. And I'd like now to turn to a question that was submitted from the public regarding the perennial problem that GISA does have with student engagement. I mean, you can turn around and look behind you in the audience. We have as many audience members as we do candidates tonight. And this is not necessarily atypical given certain events over the past year as well. So this is a problem that we face on an annual basis, and one that will continue to dog, I think, the organization. So I'd be very interested to hear each of your takes on how really you go about trying to encourage higher levels of student engagement.
Thank you. Well, basically, it's wonderful that GISA has got all these parties, events, etc., etc. I myself, I enjoyed a lot, and I also it was a passion for me even to contribute in a way. But listen, other students are like us, no? We are here in the school because we want to make a career afterwards. People are busy with a lot of issues which are stressing them out, which sometimes, I can't use a very polite word for it, So people are not very much into many of the affairs that we might think which are very delightful or shiny. I suppose, again, I turn back to the point of initiatives from the perspective of communications. GISA needs to have an outreach outside of it's very unfortunate that I can't have one of my slides according to the rules set out by Tyler over here, but do go to my platform written there. I talk about 4 fronts. The communication needs to work in 4 fronts. 1, inside the team of GISA. 2, with the administration. 3, with external stakeholders, and that is very important when it comes to initiatives. And 4th, with the student body on a daily basis. So what GISA needs to do, in my opinion, what GISA needs to internalize, in my opinion, is to address the sorts of needs that people are concerned about. Look, people came here for an international career. And after a month or 2 or 3 or 4, having had 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 50, 200 applications without a proper answer, then they would face why things are not working properly well. So probably those are the issues that we need to put on the agenda so people can come along.
Thank you very much, and I apologize for you not having your slides in the interest of time, and everybody, I'm sure, having other plans later on this evening. I'd like to just keep things moving, but those are, again, publicly available. Of course. Thomas? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have any slides. I mean, it seems to be a big theme of the evening. So no, but as future communication, one of our candidates for the communication says, it is pinpoint events and issues that bring people out. Like, so only so many people are going to come to this sort of debate, or maybe a debate which is about our statutes. But when it comes to things like scholarships, especially scholarships for PhDs, even for masters, when it comes to the cafeteria prices, these are things that mobilize people and they get very interested. And I think what we need to communicate is exactly what we've done, what's happened, what's happening, what we're going to work on in the future. And we need to communicate this through, well, we need to update the website, so I'll work with whoever is our future communications manager to update the website, really make sure that people know what's happening in GISA, how we're changing it for them, how we're reducing prices for them, how we're finding extra funds for them. And we need to make sure this is an ongoing thing, because a lot of these things take a very, very long time, as I've seen with other GISA boards in the past. GISA is not a quick fix, it's a long slog through the mud, but they do get things done, and people need to know that these things are happening. So it's constant negotiation, and people just need to know what we're up to. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Nicholas, go ahead.
I think a lot of what we've heard so far sounds exactly to have hit the nail on the head. Although I would say there's another side of sort of that coin in terms of we have to communicate better with the student body about the successes we've had and the failures we've had. At the same time, we need to be listening to them. And this requires a combination of informal and formal techniques. So informally, I mean, we listen to what's going on Facebook, talk to your friends, you talk to somebody else. And formally, there is a system of class representatives. Although I would advocate, again, sort of a semi-anonymous process of students just sort of leaving in sort of a survey or something like that, so that we get to know what they have to do. And the key thing there is accessibility, because that's the main limitation that almost everybody has here. It's in terms of how complicated things are and how much time they have. So we just have to listen to the students as effectively as possible. And I'm sure there's been experimentation about this in the past, and we need to find out which one of those examples work the best.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Since I imagine many of the candidates will tread familiar and similar ground when it comes to this particular question, I'd still like to hear from everybody. But if you have many of the same things to say, I'm sure it's understood. So, anybody else want to have your say? Same thing, sure. So, this is an issue I think that is known clearly, and one that will be of central importance to the next board. So regardless of your personal platforms and aims in your position, it's going to be part of your work. I'd like to actually transition here, and Thomas said something that was interesting regarding the long, slow slog through the mud. Reminded me of Max Weber with the politics being a slow boring of hard boards. And on this particular point, you do get down in the trenches, and you have to slog it out. So my final question, and again a question I think is very relevant, is how do you work as a member of a team, and how do you manage conflict within that team? Again, these are brief answers, so we're not looking for an entire theory of conflict management, but I would like to hear perhaps an example that you have from a past position, or just your outlook on this sort of a thing. So whichever one of you would like to. Farhan, surprise.
Yes. I really need to kind of ask for something, or I have to put it over here. See, you know me a little bit. See, I don't manage conflicts, I avoid them, simply. Yeah, why should you get into it so that you need to manage it? listen to people. You know, sometimes people cannot really get their message across to you, but they really mean something. Try to listen for a second time, for a third time. Then you avoid. I mean, this is basically the sort of, because Tyler Adler's past experiences. If you've worked as a teacher, I worked for 9 years as a teacher. Well, students can go crazy in many respects. Hello, professors. And, well, no, don't turn back. I'm talking to the video, so later on, yes. Okay, so try to listen to people. As a member of a team, first of all, try to listen to your colleague in the team, which I think GISA is, to my knowledge, is very well. I mean, it's very well on that side. And when it comes to the student body, also try to listen. Well, maybe when it comes to the administration, you may expect them to listen a little bit to you, not you listening very much to them. Of course, it doesn't mean not to respect the rules. So basically, I would say to listen to people is the key of avoiding conflicts rather than getting into the conflict. So all those theories of, which I am not aware of conflict management that you would like to talk about. So who should I hand the microphone to?
Who would like to go? Thomas?
And I didn't get the beeper.
Keep the tradition.
Yeah. But no, this time I didn't get the beeper.
No, it's very admirable to avoid conflict in the first place, and we saw that last year with people in the communications department quitting, and actually communications is quite a tough role. But when push comes to shove, there often are tensions within the board, and I think these have to really be put to bed as fast as possible. We can't have a board that is always ill at ease with each other. So I think that will be one of my main concentrations as the administrative coordinator. I will be agenda setting, and so it will be a large part of my role to ensure that all members are happy with what's on the agenda, that we're prioritizing what's important to people on the board, but especially for what's important to students. Students come forward to the first over the board, I'm afraid, possible future colleagues. But to really ensure that what we discuss is important, and as we say, avoid conflict, but when it comes to it, nip it in the bud. You know, this is not something that we should have lingering. You know, we need to be united front against, well, I'd say administration, they're not the enemy, but the administration and other things which we will have to face, which will often come from the changing nature of the institute at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah, tradition.
Alright, so I think one of the main interesting things about GISA is, compared to a lot of other organizations, it doesn't have as strict of a hierarchical structure as others. And in many organizations, that's the key way people resolve conflict, is that you simply go to a higher up if negotiation or simply open communication fails. The board, being the key body of GISA as a horizontal sort of structure, has to establish ground rules amongst themselves, and in many cases on a personal level, before there even comes a point where conflict could start. So when boards are actually built up, there needs to be some kind of system, aside from just voting each other up or down, which is a very binary system. There needs to be a dynamic between the individuals that is built around a mutual respect for a process. And I can't talk about the specifics of this process yet, because this is unique to every single board and every single person within it. It's really not about trying to expand any kind of confrontation. I really believe in one-on-one dialogue, being able to resolve most things. Failing that, there needs to be a procedure for which everybody can disagree, or even when it comes to the most common thing, I would imagine, which is budgetary allocations, which is very much a zero-sum game. There needs to be a process through which everyone can come to a compromise, or at the minimum, respect the decision that comes through from the body as a whole.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I would like to hear from all candidates on this particular question because I do think it is something that's very, very important.
I would say when it comes to conflict, I think being a good listener is very important, and showing to respect, and also being supportive is very important. So, and to know each other, because we are from very different cultures, so we have to know each other very well. So that's.
Thank you. Dennis, you want to have a little bit to say?
I just add having fun together and creating a team spirit by having some relaxing time together and not only stressed board meeting every week. That will help create a smooth atmosphere within the group.
As you know, I am not a native English speaker. It's this disadvantage, but it's also an advantage, because every time when I try to say something, I will think a lot, and after a long consideration, then I will speak. So I think this will give, when people listen to me, I speak slowly, and it will give you the chance to calm down and listen to my voice. And I think this calm down and this slowly moving on, it will make the conflict to be solved more successfully. Yeah, I think that's my point.
And Chantal?
As much as I agree with the first three speakers, I don't recognize these names, but you're talking about agendas and on a really scientific way. I really appreciate this, and but the stress I want to make is almost the same as bad and yin again. It's kind of like a Eastern wisdom that people used to, used to ask it, and also just calming down and then listening to everybody, no matter what the question is, how stupid it is, or how hard it is. I think that it brings people closer, our culture, and we can like share in a mental way instead of just talking reason. That's what I think.
Thank you very much. While I have further questions, mostly for individual positions, I would like to, at this point, turn to our audience to see if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask of either all the candidates or an individual position based on, oh, look at that.
I can't for that. Okay, thank you so much. That was really interesting, and I see there is like different point of view. I'm really interested about actually the finance group, because both of you have really different ideas, and I found them not really kind of, like you want to change things, but you're not telling us how. So for Shenzhen, I remember that you said in your platform that you would like to do kind of activity or helping the new student to be able to manage your money in Geneva. I want to understand how you're going to do that, in what way, what was a practical way. And for the other speaker, you're talking about that it's really true that we're having finance for each class. I'm going to be a rep for my class, and I have money. And it's true that they just give us the money and don't really give us like a directive about how we should do with the money, how can we use it. I had a good talk with Tyler, so it gave me an idea, but for other people, I know they're not going to use it. So I would like you to give me a more practical way what you want to change of that. What's your idea? So that's the two main questions I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidates, you can respond at your leisure.
So it's true, my personal view, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This question here. Yes. To manage the students' money, well, to me, it's more like details. GISA is a guideline online for students to have a look at how they can spend money on food, on travels, on banking, on everything basically. But it's too short. At the moment, it's too short, I think. I would like to make things more precise. And for example, GISA referred to some really good restaurants, and there's like fit student budget, but they are mostly still very expensive in my point of view. I would like to make more. Maybe I would like to introduce how to like save money on very individual items, groceries, clothes, and transport card, and also mobile phones. The mobile phone, I understand you have a really long chart and very concise one, but actually the things have it's always updating, and I think GISA has to release some of the information on that too. Yeah.
Hold on in the website. I just asked you this question on Facebook, basically. But like, I'm still more practical, just coming back on that. Sorry, talking too much, but the practical way, like for example, it's ridiculous, but there is the idea of bringing a huge group of people going to the frontier and showing like the French shop. You know, some people do that, but that's also a good way to save money, or you know, having kind of more practical thing, because the new generation tend to be lazy when it comes to reading. You know, so I would love to have more like maybe meetings or like activities about where to find the food, etc. So that's personally cool. You don't have to answer to that. That's what I think, and you should do for that.
Thank you for the input. Ying, if you'd like to respond to a question about the class budget side.
Yeah, that one. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
About the class fund, I think sometimes it's quite difficult for a small group of students to organize some huge event. Like me, I'm in the economics program. We only have 20 around students in program, so it's hard for the class representative to use it. So I will try to maybe connect the first year and second year and PhD. So then we'll have like 100 students, and it will be more possible to have some events that students are most interested in, and we can then use the class fund and more.
So it would be good. Sorry, I'm burning thing, but you know, you could provide a list of activities with the budget that we can use. You know, that in Geneva, like big activity, that if you do more than 30 people with this activity, then it will be cheaper. So we could have a list of things that we can do with the money besides buying pizza, basically. So that's what I would be interested about.
In my opinion, the class funds are different from what GISA's fund. They are quite different. The class funds, they are especially for this program, for this student, if I'm not wrong. So I think they have their own opportunity to choose how to spend this money.
Yeah, I know, but we're just arriving in Geneva and we basically don't know what we can do. Restaurants are like too expensive to afford for an entire group, no matter how much money you have. So it's like trying to find other good use of the money. So I had good input from Tyler, but then I would love to have a guideline that give me the kind of things that I can do with this money. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. This is good because we do welcome feedback. These elections tend to go in the direction of what has the previous board not been as effective at as they could be. So this usually serves two purposes. One is to differentiate the candidates from each other, and one also is to have a discussion, a bit of a forum about the direction of the next GISA board when these candidates do join in. I do appreciate your points. I don't want to dampen your expectations, but in terms of the price of restaurants, you're not likely to find many that are cheaper than what are already on the student guide, at least within Geneva proper. But this is an aside, and again, as you familiar yourself with the city, I think it'll become a little more apparent on that particular front. So I think Saran had a question as well. Yeah? Yes. We'll move to our next question. Thank you.
Hello. I have two questions, but I'll go with the one that I wanted to ask for such a long time. Like I've already heard whatever you have in your mind, and it's super amazing. But I just want to get to know you as a person more. So if you can just briefly describe your personality, or even personality in a team or whatever, just give me a better idea of like who you really are. Is it possible?
Cool. Okay. So we'll go with the describe yourself in 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, like adjectives. Not even like long self-intro.
Sure.
Adjectives.
I'm gonna go ahead and adopt that. I want 3 adjectives and a motto. Yes. 3 adjectives.
I start with French, which synonym with striking and fighting. With, I guess, serious when the work is needed, and I finish with, I guess, wine is within French, so I don't say wine. I say bread for good food. And a motto, I think, is fight for your rights and never give up, because that's what we need when we face administration.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Who'd like to go next?
Go ahead. Thank you. Okay, so I'm first year in the PhD in history, so some characteristics I might have. Goodness me, self-reflection, eh? Well, I'm very passionate about, okay, I'm not going to give one word because it's conflict. I'm very passionate about learning for things and learning about things, really learning things in depth. I'm very fascinated in India. I was there for 6 months on exchange. And I'm also very, and one of my roommates is in the back of the room, I'm also very strict about getting things done. As she knows about how I scream at everyone for getting the plates clean. And I like to run a tight ship as an administrator within GISA. And a motto, well, a motto I picked up from, if anyone follows British politics, if anyone's looking at the Labour Party, is to make a proper united front, to make sure that we're all working together. Because, yes, no, that's not going to be my slogan because there's a bit too much stigma. Yeah, so let's make sure that we have a good, cohesive organisation so we can get the best out of what we can get out of the institution this year. Thanks.
Thank you. Would like to?
Okay, I have 2 micro. Yes, actually I plan to say something about my personality in the closing statement. That part, actually, I prepared the PPT for that. But I just say something about my background. I had my undergraduate bachelor in China in finance, and the 4th year I went to France as an exchange student at the Toulouse School of Economics, if you know. And now I'm here, so I'm very interested in topics, anything related to international and economics. I'm considering about pursuing a PhD, so I might be a little bit academic, but I don't want to be so academic, so I'm here and want to meet all kinds of people, and that's
Thank you very much. Who's next?
I'm loyal and supportive, because I think those personalities are deeply rooted in the traditional Mongolian nomadic culture, and because we as a nomad people live in a very remote areas in the West Country territory, so we have to depend on each other, we have to rely on each other. So even if you're a stranger, you have to help him or her. So
Alright, so the first one is probably rational. Try to be. The second one is geeky. Very much so. And the third one is more of a phrase. It's jack of all trades, master of some. And the motto is probably everything in moderation.
Thank you very much. We have a couple still to coach. That's fine.
I would say I'm passionate about everything I like. I have many hobbies. I'm thinking about joining the cooking initiative. And also, I'd like to go little, how to say, bicycles, because it's Switzerland, apparently. And but other than the daily life side, during my previous work, I'm a really concise and a person who asks for details. And I think you will know me through time. I'm really open-minded. I like to contact different people. And also, just one more thing. I'm also very passionate about India. I went to Pondicherry as a volunteer last year to build houses brick by brick. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. Parham doesn't seem thrilled with this. I actually would like to, we have Herdiani who came in after work a little bit later. So I'd actually like to give her time to make her opening statement. Just to get it on video as well for those who are going to be watching this. If I could have you, you can go from there, or you can sit at the table. It's up to you.
So hello guys, it's been a very nice experience. Sorry for coming late. I just came back from Indonesian overseas because we have things. I have an event to attend. And my name is Adiani Dayanti. I'm the first year student in Master of International Law program. I'm here applying as a treasurer, and I kind of I'm being motivated actually by the class representative in my class, because the one that actually being chosen is the one that is really shy. So a little bit about myself, perhaps, because we've been asking about 3 things about our personality. I'm a very proactive person, like kind of, I have the mentality, what can I help? Like that is actually the kind of things that I've been asked to these people, like that's why I'm volunteering in some of the events. But in the other side, I'm also shy. I am much better in a small group rather than in a bigger group. And then the last, perhaps, shy, proactive, and I'm really persistent. So my motto is, if life brings you down 7 times, you get up 8 times. So my motivation for being treasurer, it's because I've never been in that position in an organization. So I'm really challenged. Well, I've been like 1 or 2 times, but not in the board like this. So I really want to experience that. And on the last job I was doing as a legal officer, but I was working in a startup company, so I was also responsible for accounting and finance until we actually hiring for the accounting and finance manager. So it's a lot of work, I know that, but I know exactly that I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah, that's pretty much all about me. Thank you so much.
I'd actually like to return to audience questions if any more exist. Take 1 or 2 more and then move to final statements by the candidates. Seeing none, seeing 1, we're going to go down.
Hello. Okay. So from what I've heard from Siran, that the job of GISA could be very busy. It will take up a lot of your time. So I would like to ask, especially for the first year students, that you actually have a lot of study work to do. That you have to study, you have to write your papers, especially during the final times. So how are you going to arrange your time and balance your time devoted to GISA and also devoted to your personal life and study? Thank you.
Actually, for me, it's not a problem at all, because last year when I was at Toulouse School of Economics, I had 5 courses, and at the same time I am studying for preparing for my GRE test, and at the same time I am applying for the master programs, and at the same time I took part in a lot of activities. But UCS survived, and I had a really good time. So I think for all of us, we can manage it. It will not be such a huge problem. We can schedule our time. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so in my last sort of bachelor's, I did a lot of stuff after school afterwards. In fact, if I don't end up doing GISA, it'll be the first time, I think, ever I've just done schoolwork. And most of that's mainly been me recognizing my own patterns in terms of how I behave and when I work the best and when I don't. I'm somebody who's very night active, so I usually give up on mornings and just focus on a key set of hours where everything runs really efficiently and smoothly. I also have to make sure that I pressure myself more than anything else. But usually, and I feel like this will happen at the Institute, I won't need to pressure myself. The Institute will do it for me.
Thank you for the questions. So I'm not going to compare the next experience with my past experience because I know that it's going to be really different, but I agree to look at the pattern. I know this sounds weird, but somehow when I'm busy, I'm much better at managing my own time. Rather than if I have a free time, I could be really like, how to say, like I can be like, even though like I don't have much, even though like I have so much time, but I can definitely do nothing, and actually I can have this so much thing to do and actually finish them all. And that's why that is actually one of my motivation to join this, because I know it's going to challenge me and to push my limits. So yeah, that's kind of my personal motivation to apply as a treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to?
I suppose I'm a first year or a third year, considering I'm doing this. I mean, I think the strength, hang on, I'm gonna stand up. The strength of doing a PhD is that it gives you a lot of flexibility for time, and within that flexibility, at any hour of the day I can quickly respond to the necessities that GISA will need for me. If we need to quickly schedule a meeting, I can be there to do that. There's less course requirements for me. So for me, it's more of keeping on the ball about obviously writing the PhD, but at the same time, being able to keep the whole GISA ship in order through the fact that I have relatively flexible hours. Thanks.
I know it's quite challenging, but my strong work ethic can help me, because I'm very committed to deadlines and tight schedules. I practice Aikido and Judo and so many things. And so, for example, last week I had to apply for the C4SI to be one of the participants, and I had parties, but I just left the party and went to my room and sat down and just applied, and I got in. So that would help me. So even if I was drunk, I committed to the schedule. So I hope that will help me.
Thank you for that. Shanshan, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. I would like to point out if before I came to Geneva already, I've been staying at home for 3 months without anything to do because I have an interval and a gap year. So I'm full of energy right now, and I think I am capable of doing this job without any difficulties. One reason for that is I have only 3 regular classes for the first semester. As I think everybody will agree, the first semester is to adapt oneself into the new school, the new city, and new life. That's what I'm thinking. And I would like to, I enjoy extracurricular activities, but that's not much of my life. I would like to commit to a job too. And one final point is maybe the extra burden on me is to run a couple apartment. Yeah, that'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you, and Farhan.
Okay, I think I'm answering two questions together, right? On the characteristic, what was the question? And also on this time management issue. I'm a lawyer, okay? So you got your answer, I suppose, in a way. Please, I'm not going to talk about myself, what kind of person I am, whatsoever. I suppose go to my friends and ask these guys. I put it over there in my in my slides, which are blockaded over there, but you can have them online again, also in my platform. Please do not, don't trust me if I said I'm a good, wonderful, amazing person, okay? Go ask people how much these potentials have been concretized out there, and what are the testimonies for that. I am the worst person to talk about how good I am, okay? Maybe you are not. So, but as for the time management, one word, outsource. Yes, that's a very pertinent question. Yeah, well, I'm a wonderful person, I can manage my time. Yeah, I'm 33 years old and I'm not dead. I did 2 bachelors, 2 masters, and now I'm doing a PhD at the same time. I do consultancy at the same time. I'm teaching. Yes, time constraint is a real issue. It is a real issue. And the answer to that is one, try to put your different tasks into one same categories. Try to multitask. If you are communicating as the guy who is supposed to communicate, have a look that with one stone, how many birds you can shoot. You can shoot, is it right? Is it right? Okay. Yeah. That's one point. And the second point, we're all talking about communicating with the student body, blah, blah, all this issue. Outsource. Yeah, look for people who would be interested next year to come here standing, talking, I don't know, blah, blah, in order to get one of these posts. Yeah? They would be, you would find, I'm telling you, you can find these people who would really like to be mandated with certain responsibilities, and they would like you. They would like you very much, that you trust in them and you're outsourcing certain of your tasks. I hope I have answered your questions.
Thank you. I think I saw one last question in the back corner. So we'll go for 100% audience participation with this last question.
Is it to me? Do I have to stand?
If you want to answer first, you can. So no, I'm just going to play a bit of a devil's advocate, and this might come across as a slightly aggressive question. Am I not loud enough? Okay, so yeah, so I might.
For recording.
Okay. So this is just to play the devil's advocate, and this question might sound a bit aggressive, but it's not. It's just because I'm seriously confused. It's been I think it's been a month since I've come to Geneva, and it's been a week since classes have started. And I'm assuming a lot of you are first years who are also here in Geneva for the first time, or maybe this is new, Graduate Institute is new. The elections are happening way too soon. I mean, all of you are still figuring out, your agendas are still in the making. Why would I, as a voter, want to vote for first years, like freshers who are still figuring their scene out, like freshers who are still kind of, you know, figuring Geneva out, figuring the Graduate Institute out, don't know the administration that well, are like just straight away jumping into the election fray, which is fantastic. But what will make me vote for you people, apart from the fact that yes, all of you are enthusiastic, all of you are motivated, but aren't we all too early and too soon here? So what will make me vote for you? Sorry, I just had to know.
So I think this question is mostly directed toward the first year students. So I'll ask listeners to hang back on this one. But it is a very pertinent point. Most of us that are currently serving in GISA, all of us currently serving after this election, all the remaining members will be second year students. We will have had at least 1 year of experience dealing with living in Geneva, being a student at the Institute, negotiating with administration on student issues. So I think it's a very, very important question to be asked of the first year. So if any of you would like to jump right in.
Okay, well, first things first, thank you for your question. not aggressive, but not easy to answer either. I would say probably the best answer that any first year could give is that they're in this because of the organization, not really themselves, and usually they'll have a good idea of their own capabilities and their own experiences, which nobody else here does yet. I mean, I don't think I've met any of you more than maybe once or twice. So I can understand why there would be skepticism, because I'm an unknown right now. And most first years are unknown. And we are unknown to the Institute as well. But at the same time, if you actually look a little bit more carefully, you'll find that there's a lot more similarities. So for example, the organization that I worked for also had a lot of the same responsibilities as GISA, didn't fit into a neat box, and most of my job was managing different teams and programs, which is very much similar to what administrative directors do. And at the same time, while you can say that out of the general population, any job like this might be too much for a lot of people, I think even if you just look at the Institute overall, you can say that we weren't chosen solely based on our academic performance. We were chosen based on our capabilities outside of academics as well, and that's maybe not unique, but relatively unusual in a European context. So I guess it really depends how much trust you're willing to put into not only a relatively unknown person and your average student here at the Institute, but also how much you're willing to maybe find out a little bit more about that person, about why they think that they're qualified. Reading their platform, asking them questions, or talking to them, or somebody who knows them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the questions. That is a very good question. Actually, if you're asking me why you should vote me, I will give you an answer. No, you have no reason to vote me. If you're asking for a people that have a big experience or good experience in managing finance, no, I'm not really have that experience. I don't even coming from an economic student. But I think applying for GISA is not about the position itself, but what is actually the function of this body. So when I came here in Geneva, I was coming pretty late. It was in the second week of the welcoming month. So I feel like those guys that are in GISA is not necessarily the guy that are perhaps not even the best people in the institute, not the best students, but they're actually the one that care. So if you look for the people who actually want to do anything, like everything together, just actually to service people, yes, I think that is the reason you should vote me. Thank you.
Thank you. Other first years? Sure, yeah.
First thing that I think for all of us first year students, we have our passion, and I think that's mainly the reason why we are sitting here to running for this. We have the passion to work for you and fight for the benefits of you. At first you might think it's quite silly, but that's how I think. And second, to be honest, for me, because last year I was in France, and here Geneva is quite similar for me, so I didn't meet a big culture shock or something. And personally, I like challenge, and I am a quick learner. So I think the job, this position as a treasurer, for me, I can do it quite well.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. It's a quite challenging question, actually. But I think, first of all, I have to answer what is my understanding about the position. My understanding about the communication director, as I said, it's not like director, it's more about a communication tool. And also I want to be the bridge between the students and the institute. Also, not that long bridge, but very short bridge, bridge. So I want to be the voice of the students, to the institute, and not only institute, to the outer organizations and institutes. So I just want to be the bridge, which is very short and very responsive.
Thank you
very much.
And
Actually, it's a very tough question on me too, because I have asked myself, if I am the voter, would I vote for myself? The answer is between yes or no, but I definitely know I want to do this job. And well, and also there's one more thing I want to point out. I'm not the first year of primary school. I'm first year of a master's degree. That means I have a certain professionalism collected during the first 20 to 23 years of my life. I think I'm capable and I'm middle level skilled to do this job. So I'd like to say, yeah, maybe for most of us, it's the same case. So, yes, but still between yes and no.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I shouldn't stand up for this one, but I didn't like this segregation of newcomers and okay, it's 5 years I'm here. Okay, I've already done a master in this country. I've already worked in 3 cities of this country. But that doesn't make me a more wonderful person than someone who does have a vision to work hard. People can go, people can read, people look at the success stories all around the world. No, well, I'm against myself maybe, but for me there is no against for in this forum. So I believe that, well, irrespective of that, open up your vision, look at these people, and see who you would like to, who just convinces you with his platform on doing the job. If that can be convincing, that can be convincing. So what is it really about? You're new to Geneva, you're much welcome. Yes,
thank you
good.
for your
statement
in defense of the first years. Did I see a follow-up question, or are you?
No, I didn't actually mean any kind of segregation. I just threw the question and I think even people who have been in Geneva for, anybody was free to answer, including the vice president who's contesting for PhD. I mean, anybody could answer that, so yeah.
Sure. If any seconders would like to make a statement at this time. If not, I'd like to move, I think, to closing statements. You do have the option to present a closing statement if you'd like. I would also
read the slides.
You may use the slides for the closing statement. Everybody has the option to do it. You are by no means required to give a closing statement, but it is encouraged. So we would go either in the original order. So Melis, if you'd like to give an opening or a closing statement, excuse me. If not, that's fine. All right, thank you. Moderator, do you want to give a brief statement? I have a mic for you here.
I will be very briefly talking. And, first of all, my first point was as a communication tool, and second of all, the communication have to be efficient. So it means we have to be very inclusive, and also we have to promote our students to other institutes. So that was my points.
Thank you very much. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I think. No, there's no thing. Okay, I am not a communication tool. I'm sorry. You do have your communication tools. Yes, you don't need me. I'm sure you have a lot of.
Just if you don't want to be a communication tool and you're like, voting for being the director of communication, that's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, what was the ridiculous part? I didn't get it.
You said you're not a communication tool and you're like, your post is to be director of communication.
Yeah, but I'm not a tool. That's what I say. Yeah? So basically, I would like to say, at the end of the day, I don't look at this as a sort of competition or the debate in its very original sense of the matter, which nowadays you see is going on, I mean, elsewhere in the world. So, but basically, my concluding remarks would be only think about the real potentials of those people who can have in order to meet the very high expectations that you legitimately can have from them. That's all. And, well, I mean, on that ground, if I happen to be the person who would be addressed by certain questions, certain challenges, well, this debate session is almost over, but you can always just come to me through my email, to, I mean, other sorts of communication tools, as you may put it forward. So, is that enough? Perfect. Thank you.
Nicholas, would you like to give a...
Thanks. Okay, well, I did not prepare a closing statement. I'm first going to start off with how I felt this has gone so far, and then I'm going to move to a couple of the experiences I'd like to highlight, which I didn't get to earlier. This kind of question and answer format and the way we've all sort of spoken and presented our ideas and our platforms, to me, it's interesting to see how ideas start to bounce off each other. And it's exactly in that kind of exchange where I think the most productive ideas and processes are created for a student organization like GISA. It would probably help if we had more people here, but that's exactly why we can have this kind of format, because then we can understand the process better. And my hope is, if I become administrative director, to facilitate that as much as possible. Also the more sort of structural things about when to schedule meetings, or the process for setting up minutes before meetings so people can see what's going to happen and research it before the meeting starts. That might already happen. It does, yes. The point is to facilitate an exchange of ideas, and more importantly, to actually turn it into something deliverable. And also to have clear objectives which are transparent for the student body. Of course, this also depends on the student body being engaged with us, so it's kind of a chicken and the egg problem. Discussions like this hopefully will help us figure that out and find a loophole. In terms of my experience and why I think I might be good at this, I've managed teams before, and the key thing for that is really, I mean, I would usually say delegation. But in this case, I'm not above people. We're on a horizontal board, and it's all about support, really. That's what I see my role as being as administrative director, and providing some ideas for people to work off and bounce off each other, but it's really about support. And yeah, and I've also understood what it means to actually face a great external threat. Can I have 15 more seconds? Yeah, okay, thanks. An external threat in my past experience, our student organization hadn't been paying taxes for 7 years, and we were hit with a lawsuit by the government of the province. We had to go through that whole process, and we came out stronger simply because, and I think a lot of it was the conditions, because we were pushed so much closer together, and the communication between us had to be flawless. We all had to be on the exact same page, not out of choice. And my point is, right now, GISA is at the point where it's a choice, and I hope to make sure that at some point, if it doesn't have a choice, it can still communicate effectively amongst itself and with the student body.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thomas, if you have a statement.
All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. So, as I've said in my Facebook description, the Institute is going to face a lot of changes this year. To put this in more student terms, winter is potentially coming. And we need to be ready for that. And we need a GISA that is ready to respond to all these different issues. Now, I've been following these for the last 6 months. I've seen exactly the sort of secrecy in which the Institute itself has tried to negotiate what an institute will look like. But now that it's a fully privatized institute, it's fair game. There are very few restrictions that Niger has. what things are we going to keep? What do we need to retain from UNIGE? Which rights, which privileges? Where is GISA going to find its role within this? So my role, and someone with experience with the Institute and having known people who worked with GISA before, is to work out what we can do best to find our place within this fully privatized institution, and to make sure that we carry out ideas well, smoothly, that we avoid internal conflicts, which have happened before, and that we provide a united front to make sure that we get the best out of whatever's going to change this year with the privatization of the Institute. Thank you very much.
We'll move to our communication, or our treasurers, excuse me. Jean-Jean, you want to start off?
Yes, I didn't prepare for my ending statement too, but just one thing I want to mention. I'm at your disposal. Any questions and or any inquiries, any kind of, you can just reach me through Facebook and email. I will prepare for them. Yeah, that'll be all.
Thank you very much. You want to give us a
I actually have just 3 slides.
Oh, sure.
So first, thank you very much for coming and thank you for all the questions. And actually, I plan to talk about my personality at this part and just actually, I am, at first you will think that I'm quite shy or a little bit quiet, but actually I'm not. You might think I'm a little bit quiet and shy at first, but actually I'm not. And actually I'm very reliable, responsible and careful, which is quite qualified for this position. And I am also very open to all the suggestions and advices. The second thing I want to say, I repeated, it's my background in financing and accounting, which is my specialty, so you should just trust me. And last but not least, it's a great honor for me really to work for you, and I am really looking forward for this position. All right, that's all.
And our last candidate.
Thank you so much for the chance. I don't even ready for this kind of closing remark. Well, I'm never really coming for win, but I enjoy the process and the experiences, even though with sweaty hands and feet. Like, I'm really proud of myself for standing here. So I think I'm going to be a little bit different. If you really want to have someone that just want to do everything to actually show that they care about the institute and also the students, I'm going to be there. And I'm pretty sure, even though that I'm not voted as the treasurer, I'm still going to find a way to contribute in the institute. So I don't know, just vote for me if you think that I'm going to be really great in the team and that I can do my best, or if you just want to screw my life for the next 1 year as a first year student. So yeah, I think you should vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the candidates for sharing with us your positions and your backgrounds. I think Andre's going to give a couple of closing remarks. But thank you again for those that have come from me, and thank you candidates for bearing with us through this process of this debate.
First, I want to ask for a round of applause to my moderator. He did a very good job. For these 2 hours here. It was not easy job. Second, I want to thank you, everyone that is being here and everybody that's watching this video. This is really clearly a sign of engagement. And everybody in this room, either a candidate or not, please remain engaged with GISA and student politics. Even if you're not come to be elected, please remain engaged, because this is going to be a tricky year. We have a lot of reforms going on, and not only reforms that are not very well announced. So we need all the help we can give, and this is not average our association. We need your help. We need people to be engaged with us. So I want to invite the candidates for two things if they wish to be present and know how GISA works inside. First is tomorrow we have a party. It's the Glow party. It's going to start at 9:30. If you want, you are all invited to help being volunteering there. We need volunteers because right now we are a bit unstaffed because we don't have 3 members in Geneva. And the second is that it is scheduled for Monday, 6 hours on the Bichoto Common Room. We have our meeting. Or we have a general GISA meeting. We can go just to watch. There are some things we rather not talk to you about elections, but you will have an idea how GISA works inside. And thank you everybody again, and I hope you have a good weekend and a good party if you come, and a good semester.